Hello, today I'm going to be going over exactly how I plan to make up my loss of $689.42. How do I plan to recover that? What am I going to change about my behaviors and how I approach trading in order to result in a different trader? How am I going to be better than I was last week? I'm going to be going over all of the things that I have planned to implement into my strategy and my approach. The first thing that I'm going to be implementing is adding affirmations into my schedule. I'm going to be waking up 10 minutes earlier than I did previously. So I was waking up at 6:50 and then trading at 7 a.m. Now I am waking up at 6:40 and I'm working on my psychology before I get to the market. I was really often, even though I said I woke up at 6:50, I was actually really waking up at like 6:55 or 7. And then I was stumbling over to from my bed to my computer. And I hadn't prepared mentally for the day. I just wasn't in the right mindset. You can use affirmations for absolutely anything. How I'm going to be using them is to get my mindset correct before I approach the markets. Second thing I'm going to be implementing is I want to be more cautious. I noticed that when I was paper trading successfully before I started live trading, I was really cautious. I felt like I was on the sidelines most of the time. And even on successful days that were green days, it didn't feel like I had played some game, or it felt like this. I was kind of like, I ended the day and I was like, I guess I'm done. It wasn't this hyper engaged feeling, but it worked and it was successful. And often I found myself missing moves, which isn't the goal, but I found myself missing moves instead of jumping in and taking risks. At this point, this early in my trading career, I really don't think I should be jumping in and taking that many risks. I think I should be overly cautious. I think that's a better problem to have at the beginning. And I'd rather miss a move, but observe it and learn from it and see what happens on the sidelines so that I can know for next time, rather than take the risks and learn through the mistake, the loss. So yeah, I want to approach the markets just really cautious. There was this through line that I saw when I was paper trading and I was successful, where I would get my book, I would come over here, I would sit down to trade, and I felt like this isn't worth my time unless it's an A+ setup. I'd rather read and enjoy my morning than be playing a game of having to make up your losses and wanting to keep going. Like the moment you feel like I've got to keep going and you feel really attached, that's where it's like you kind of have to walk away because you're emotional at that point. I really want to avoid getting to that point by being overly cautious and participating. I don't want to miss moves, but I would rather be missing moves than being in every single potential trade. That moves me to my next implementation I'm going to make, which is that I want to take 1 to 3 trades a day, which is going to be quite different for me. There were days where I took, I don't know what my max trade amount was, but definitely 40 trades, if not more than that. I really want to be focusing on quality over quantity. That feels like the name of the game. Accuracy is totally the name of the game for improvement. Stats, my trade Zella stats, that is what I'm focusing on. I want green days in a row, and I want my accuracy to be bumped. And then my profit to loss ratio should naturally, the system should work for that if I am trading it appropriately. So we should have a really profitable system, but I need to work on the consistency and the accuracy. The next element I am implementing is a max loss. Previously, I did have a max loss set and it was working really well for me. It was $25 and I did not exceed this max loss. And then I decided to size up. And when I sized up, I didn't establish a max loss. I just thought, I'll feel this out, let me just trade in the markets and then I'll see what makes sense for a new max loss. And in that time period, I lost $500 in one day. So we really can't be going in blind like that anymore. The max loss must be established. In a slow market, my max loss is $25. In a hot market, my max loss will be $50. We are currently, as of today, November 19th, in a slow market. So my max loss right now is $25. Whenever the market does heat up, I will allow myself a $50 max loss. I do have a daily goal, but my goal is not as important as my max loss. My goal is to just be green. That's my first goal. In a slow market, that's my only goal, really. $25 would be great, but the goal is to be green. And then in a hot market, my goal will be $50 to $100. All that profit will be traded with 50 shares. That is my starting position, is 50 shares of a stock. And I'm only trading stocks that are around $2.50 to about $16. That's where I kind of cap out. My max share size is going to be 100 shares. I will only be able to size up to this if that whole week, and if it's a Monday, the week before, but if that week I have stayed true and followed to a T this criteria, especially the criteria of max loss. If I've exceeded $25 and it's a slow market week in a day, that week, I cannot size up to 100 shares. I will be staying at 50 the whole week. But say I have followed that criteria and I had 2 red days. One was $13, the next one was $20, and today it's a hot market day. I've already made a cushion on the day. Say I've made $25, then I can size up. That will be fine. But all of these rules are really in place for protection of myself, in protection of my emotional state so that I don't get really hijacked, and protection of my profits as well. I think that if you focus more on protecting your profits and cutting your losses, that's the greatest thing you can do. Don't make the focus making money, make the focus losing as little as possible and taking the smartest trades you can. Those 2 things alone, I think, could make a world of difference in anyone's trading. And that's what I'm going to be really implementing over the next, it's almost the end of the year. It's the 19th right now of November. November, I was expecting to be a really positive, profitable month, and it hasn't been so far. I really, in December, want to focus on all of this criteria that I've just laid out, and I really want to establish consistency. I want to be live trading the exact way I was paper trading before, with caution, with a level head. Boring trading is the right way to trade, truly. Make it as boring as possible. Just wait, be patient, wait for the right things, wait for the right setups. Don't jump in unless it's an A+ setup. Them's the rules. Those are my rules, and I will keep you guys updated on how it works for me. I'm really excited to see the positive results that I know will come from this, and I hope that inspires you in some way to hopefully focus more on accuracy if you're trading, and seriously stop focusing on the profit. Even like looking at the number that I have lost, $689, it doesn't matter. It's just a number. It's a motivator to make more money, but like, I want to make more money in a really slow, steady way. I am not going to be looking to make this money back in a week or 2 weeks or even a month. What I want is to show myself I can recover slow and steady. The more slow and steady I am, the easier it is to scale, the easier it is to approach trading from a non-emotional place, which is 90% of trading, is to not be emotionally hijacked. So that is my plan. I will update you guys on my next trade. Bye.